Part 2 of Boom Day. If you are following the playlist today, it is Boom Day today. Everything's up. The global markets are up. Chinese stimulus is having an effect. We've got Jerome Powell's speech, GDP, all of it. We're covering everything today in a Boom Day playlist. I'm making this live. This is part 2. The first one was a general about the whole market. Now we're talking about Micron. What's happening? Micron has had a blowout today. It's put a lot of attention on the markets. Added to everything else, and I will cover the Chinese situation and why this stimulus package has begun and how it relates to Micron in part 3. So watch to the end of this video. It'll take you through to China, which comes next. China, that comes next right after this video. But right now, we're talking Micron. Well, last night, Micron did their earnings, and it surprised everybody. Didn't surprise me, but it feeds into NVIDIA. But before you rush out to buy Micron, you need to know a few things. Let me have a look at the numbers. You can see how it performed last night. It's an upward trajectory. Estimated 113, 118, no slowdown. I'll give you the numbers. AI now makes up 0.4 of GDP. It's a really big deal, which is $100 billion in AI. However, is Micron the way to go? Well, excuse me for scrolling fast, but there you go. It is up today. Let me show you the valuations. If you tap the like button, this is part 2 of our Boom Day series today. And click subscribe as well if you like live content. I make all of my videos as they are live on the show. There's no messing around. We're going to the moon today. Not really a fan of that phrase, but we are going to the moon, and the money printer is on, and we're making money, and everyone is getting very, very excited. No doubt about it. And if you can support me, that would be very nice. If not, that's absolutely fine. If you don't support me, I'll have to say this is going to happen. The little fellas are going to get sad. They put a lot of time into this show. They wonder how Martyn Lucas makes it all live without an editing team, all by himself in the best live streaming studio on YouTube, all by myself. Yeah, do it live. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about Micron. Let me show you the numbers. Let me show you the balance sheet and see if this really was an opportunity to buy. Well, I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, I'm not going to mess around. It's going to keep running. It's going to keep running for a week or so. Like I've said, 3x on the S&P by the end of the decade, a Santa rally. My portfolio is going to be up 40-50% just this year on the S&P alone because I bought the macro dips, not just because of itself. My overall portfolio will be up by that much, all right? I'm also in margin, which amplifies it as well. First of all, we've got these ratings here. Now, take it with a grain of salt. I'm a Seeking Alpha analyst. You don't have to be a financial advisor. And even if you are, you get it wrong half the time anyway. But Seeking Alpha analysts say buy. Wall Street says buy. Quant says buy. Prefer these two. Buy from Wall Street. They're traders, whatever, not investors. They say buy. Quant, the computer says buy based upon the numbers. That's what I like, the numbers, no emotion. All right, that's all good. Look at all this. Valuation's gone from F to C. Growth has gone from C minus to A plus. Profitability has gone from C minus to A minus. And momentum has gone from A to C minus and A minus in revisions to C. Now, just remember that this is a cyclical stock. Before you suddenly run, it will run and run for a while, but you should already have been in. But for me, the better option is NVIDIA. It's a cyclical stock. It's lost a lot of money in the past. If you remember, it's sold out. It's sold out of all its products. You can't buy any for the next 15 months, which is fantastic. But it is cyclical. I prefer NVIDIA, and we have got 2 years growth ahead of us, so you might like that as well. But just remember, huge swings in the past. This stock can actually lose money. They can actually sell chips for losses. We've been there. We've seen it. It's why I prefer NVIDIA. Their way they're structured is better. Here's some news for you before I touch on the data for you. Now, if you like the information I'm providing, this is Seeking Alpha, and you want Seeking Alpha with a discount. You can't get a discount unless you use my referral, and you can't get a free trial either. There is the link in the chat. Okay, so if anyone's watching now, you can grab that. For everybody else, look below the video in the description down below. You will find the link to the the Seeking Alpha. Right, here's some news before we cover this data, which I want to show you here. We'll come on to that in a moment. But first of all, Micron's guidance surprises Wall Street. Didn't surprise me. I've been saying forever about AI, the position, the GDP, the $100 billion, all the rest of it, but I still prefer NVIDIA. No doubt about it. NVIDIA is the way to go, but you can make money today on Micron. It will run for a while, but you are chasing it. It can trim, but it probably won't for a while. It's a kind of frenzy at the moment, but I like to already be in. I want my portfolio to be hundreds of percent up, not a few percent up, always chasing. So Micron's guidance surprises Wall Street as the AI train continues to roll on. Yes, it does. Micron Technology fourth quarter results topped expectations, but it was the memory makers' guidance that pleasantly surprised Wall Street, suggesting that the artificial intelligence boom is more than offsetting consumer weakness. Now, this is what's important to avoid a recession. If AI can grow by a certain amount, we can avoid a recession. Now, some will argue we are already in a recession. Depends on how you read it, and we've reached bottom. We all know in history, once you're in a recession, that's the bottom or thereabouts. So we are in the bottom. This is boom time. There's no doubt about it. But whether you think we're in a recession or whether you don't, it doesn't make a scrap a bit of difference. AI is outperforming and protecting us from that recession or an increase in recession or coming out of recession. Whichever way you want to look at it, it is a good news story. Okay. Shares rose 15% in pre-market trading, while digital WDC and Seagate Technologies, which often trade in tandem with Micron, rose as well. Everything's rising. Part 3 of the boom day will come up next. We'll talk about China. Stand by for that. That's coming up. It'll automatically take you there, or click above my head or below in the description for part 2. Part 1 was the general outline of today. Our view of the fundamental story has not changed much as the stock has gyrated all year. Yes, it is cyclical. It goes up and down. Be careful if it's rallying now. I would say much better option would be NVIDIA, and we'll be talking about NVIDIA in part 4. So this is part 2. I'm going to get confused in a minute. Anyway, and while there is a clear evidence of memory oversupply, it has not yet impacted pricing more added. I can confirm to you that for the next 2 years, we've got growth with this stock, and I've done the numbers. I've been up all night preparing this, by the way. Sold out all stock for the next 15 months. So there is huge supply, huge demand for this product. Okay. Seeking Alpha analyst Gary Alexander was also impressed by the results. Micron's incredible near doubling revenue growth helped to solidify the thesis that AI is supporting a multi-year boost in demand. 2 years I've got for this, adding that this believes the chip sector is oversold. Yes, we've got plenty of growth. However, what happens in 27, 28, we don't know. All right, so just don't get too carried away. I would be certainly long on the United States. I would not be shorting any stocks at all. People are getting shorted, are going to be squeezed everywhere today. But then we've always talked about that. Who the hell cares? If you want to play silly buggers, you get your hands burned. There are also positives for companies like NVIDIA, Broadcom, Marvel, AMD, and the semiconductor equipment firms like KLA Corp based on Micron's data center strength. Loads of it. There's more and more on this, but I'm not going to cover this anymore. I've got like a 10-part series. I've no idea how many parts this is going to have, and I'm sure I'm going to get confused in a minute. But Micron, before I end this and move on to China, don't know why I keep saying that. Doesn't Donald Trump say that in America? Anyway, before I do that, I'm going to just show you the numbers just so you don't go blindly into this. Now, this is Alpha Spread. I've got a great relationship with the CEO, and I can bring you the best deal for Alpha Spread. So I'm going to share with you now. All my members get a free plan, or they get my software version with a discount so good it makes my membership for free. There is the Alpha Spread in the chat. For everybody else, it will be below the video when you watch it. Valuation 106. Well, let's remind ourselves we are now at 112, so we're undervalued right now. Undervaluation. In fact, that would be undervaluation 106. Of course, the stock has already moved this morning. We're up 112. We're moving really quickly. So anyway, 106 is the valuation on the base case. Let me just bring this. This is before the market opens, of course. Let me come back to that. Best case scenario. Look, 296, a 68% valuation, so 68% undervalued base case. Worst case scenario, 10% overvaluation. But we're not in a worst case now. We are now approaching best case, somewhere between base and best. The economy, stimulus checks going to China. We'll talk about that in a moment on the next video. Everyone's buying everything. AI's pumping. It's every reason to get involved. Now, as you can see, the stock is secular. It flows up and down. It's a trading stock. For me, you buy here, you sell here. You buy here, you sell here. You buy here, you sell here. It's a bit like oil, okay? You can make money on this stock as a trader, just bearing in mind it's ultimately trending upwards. Up 17%. Operating income is up 56%. Net income is up 59%. Financing cash flow, we've got no figure on that at the moment. Investing cash flow is up 17%. And operating cash flow is up 85%, and expect this to rise. As you can see, the stock rising as we are talking about it. Very, very exciting day, huge day. It's Boom Day, part of a series of videos I'm making live in the show. Let's scroll down for further information. If you like Alpha Spread, the link's below in the chat. 66 billion in assets, cash is 8 billion, a nice ratio there. We've also got... let me just turn that off. Someone's trying to be a clown and call in, so we'll turn it off. There we go. That was my live phone in. We've got some trolls phoning in, so we're raising security and we're getting rid of all our trolls. We're putting no more time in it. We've got so many investors here who want to make money. We haven't got time for trolls. Go somewhere else. Security is being raised, and now the phone in button is turned off. You can't phone in if you try. You're wasting your time. Right, 66 billion in assets. We've got 2 points. Where did I say it was? 22 billion in liabilities. Long-term debt is 12 billion. A lot of debt here, 50%, in fact, 58% of their business, their liabilities is long-term debt, but rates are coming down faster and faster. It is a catalyst, but it's not a great balance sheet. It's an okay balance sheet, but not great. What about the gross margins? Well, as you can see, it's secular. This stock actually can lose money. People don't think about that. But these chips were sold just a few months ago, back in 2023. They were sold for losses. NVIDIA doesn't have this problem. This is why NVIDIA is the better stock to own long-term. Forget about it and hold it and all the rest of it. Just remember, this is a trading stock, secular, make money, get out, but it can lose money. Bear that in mind. Operating margin down 9%, net margin down 7%, FCF margin down 6%, ROCE down 3%, ROIC down 3%, ROA down 2%, ROE down 3%. It's rising back up again. This is the time to get in, but just understand it can lose money. Profitability stock, nowhere near an NVIDIA stock. It's nowhere near NVIDIA. Much lower profitability. It doesn't manufacture the same way. It's a completely different ball game. Solvency, it's not going bust. It's going to improve. You've got a good, solid company. Just remember, this is not NVIDIA, okay? Please remember that. All right, let's scroll on down. What else can I show you that's relevant here? We did see some trimming, but nothing to worry about from insiders. That will do for the moment. Okay, so there is my Micron update. Overall, great news. We now know AI is 0.4% of GDP. It's going to protect us from a recession. If we are already in a recession, it's the bottom. Whichever way you look at it, it's good news. AI is exploding. NVIDIA is the better option though. 100 billion is being spent in AI right now. This is a blowout for Micron. It's part of its next secular cycle. So you can buy it, you can own it for a while and trade it, make money on it. But just remember, it has huge swings. It's lost money on its chips in the past. We've got all stock is sold out for the next 15 months. So we're going to rally, and then we'll dump. 2 years of growth built into the stock. I prefer, without a question, I prefer NVIDIA, and we'll talk about that in a moment. This is part 2 of a series of videos on Boom Day. So there you go. Click above my head, down below in the description for all those links and affiliate links and all the rest of it. We're now going to talk about China, and then we'll come on to NVIDIA. Just keep watching. For those watching live, well, you're getting it for free, right? Everybody else, you'll watch it later on, and it'll take you through automatically, or click here For the playlist, take you right through to the next video, or down here, I shall put to the psychology of investing, why cash is not king. You should be all invested. I've always said it over and over again. And if you watch this video all the way through, not like a troll or a bot or some idiot, watch the first minute, watch it all the way through, and you will find out I actually prove to you unequivocally, that cash is 100% trash. You have to use your money. Don't have it sitting around doing nothing. And I think if you watch it through, I prove to you cash is trash. Watch it all the way through and then comment below if you agree or not. Okay, it's now time to move on to part 3, China. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.